Pretty soon we'll have a larger TV. Hello, folks. Welcome to your weekly select board meeting, where Selectman Stacy, I think, is en route. But we shall start, as we usually do, with what's going on in the clerk's office.
Okay. We sent out 30-day lien notices today, the 2022 taxes. They are due Thursday, August 31st by 4 p.m. So if you have not paid your 2022 taxes in full, you will be receiving a notice.
Do you know how many you sent?
We had 100 accounts and 126 notices, which included the mortgage holders.
Okay.
Dave, is that about normal, average?
Yeah. I think it might be down just a little.
And it was a lot more expensive because everything's gone up, postage, certified, the whole 9 yards, so.
We pay for it up front, but ultimately the property owner pays for it.
We did get some information from MMA, an actual bulletin, confirming that the property tax stabilization program has been repealed. And I saw Debbie did have it on the agenda later on. We can talk more about it then. But basically, we will be including a insert with the tax bills this year explaining this. There are a few other programs that are available for people if they qualify. But the freeze will be in effect for 2023 taxes going out in the fall. They will not be frozen next year. So you're all set for this year, not next year.
Okay, now I need to understand. You had to have a baseline here, right?
It's going to be on last year's tax amount. We just had to do that in Trio. We had to enter in their tax amount from last year into Trio and click a button to freeze it.
Okay. All right.
O'Donnell's will be sending out, well, they're not going to be sending out letters, they're generating letters on their side, sending us the letters, and we're going to be sending them out.
Saying that information?
That they did qualify and this year's taxes will be frozen. It'll be the same as last year's tax amount.
Oh, so this year's taxes will be the same?
The same as last year's, yes.
For certain people who filed the
Who qualified
application.
for the property tax stabilization program.
Okay, and if the taxes go up, that difference will be paid for by the state?
From what I can understand, yes.
Okay.
That's what the law says, but
And basically that's what they're saying. Excuse me. That's basic. It said, due to concerns regarding inequity and reimbursement costs, that's why they did away with the program on the state level.
it was not sustainable.
So we have been getting a lot of questions in the clerk's office on that. People are looking to fill out another application, and they just don't know where this is going. So now we have concrete information to give them, which is great.
So just the one application, and that's going to be it, because there'll be another program next year?
Right.
Okay.
If they qualify. But like I said, we just got this yesterday. We're gonna summarize it up, and put it in with all the tax bills this year.
Okay.
So everybody will be informed. We did have an instance where we got a phone call on needing some help, an elderly couple. I reached out to Jen Lewis, and I'm not sure, I did not know about the program and just wanted to talk about it a little bit. There is a program called Handy Helpers. They're volunteers associated with the Grateful Undead program. And basically they're volunteers that help seniors with minor home repairs, snow shoveling, little tasks that they need help with that they can't do themselves. So I got the contact information, I gave it to Jen, and she coordinated with the Handy Helpers. But what was interesting is this is online, and I would like to put this on our website and kind of roll this out because I don't think a lot of people know that this is out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So it just is as minor as taking out the trash on Fridays, stuff like that.
Mhm.
These volunteers will help, so that's huge, I think, for this area.
Did Jen mention how many people we have volunteering?
She didn't know.
Okay.
She just took the information and gave it to them. But it's basically all 5 towns. There are volunteers throughout.
So
So.
these volunteers per town?
It's just a
In town?
mix of all 5 towns. So I don't know if Parsonsfield volunteers will actually help Parsonsfield residents. I don't know how they coordinate it. But. So we'll put that on the website and Facebook. Now that the lien notices have gone out, we're really concentrating on town report. There are some appointments coming up that I just wanted to kind of just go over them because they all expire after town meeting. Just a few to mention, health officer, fire warden, which is Tim Green. Have we got any clarification on EMA?
We've got some information, we're waiting for more.
Okay. And Jesse Stacy is listed as the safety officer.
Correct.
So,
One question, the comprehensive plan is about 23rd, and in 23, do I have to resubmit, or can we just reappoint these same people? I don't want to change people.
I don't know how the appointments were done.
I don't know, year to year or for the plan itself, yeah.
They are year to year?
No, I'm just saying, if they're year to year, most of them are.
yeah,
Or it
comp
could be
plan
to
is-
complete the plan, it could be done that way too, so.
Yeah, the comp plan all expires after town meeting as well.
The comprehensive plan does also?
Mhm.
Okay.
So they need to be reappointed.
Are we looking for new members on that? Is that something, or we're just gonna carry over the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
The same, unless somebody, there's only one person dropped out, so
Okay.
I think we have 9 now.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, maybe that could just be one piece of paper with the following people extended and they sign and,
Yeah, because it'll probably be a 6-month
yeah,
addition.
good.
And I did have a question on cemeteries. We did get a call from Deb Harrington on East Parsonsfield Cemetery. And I looked at the town report, and we have all these cemetery accounts for certain cemeteries. How does that work on these funds?
They get combined into one number.
No, not the
No,
individual
not
accounts.
cemetery.
Well, the accounts are there,
There's personal individual accounts.
There are,
Yeah.
but we have to, well,
We have not done anything with the cemeteries
Okay.
that we have perpetual accounts for.
okay,
I mean, frankly, they probably pay for, most of them would pay for one mowing,
if that.
if that.
well, some of them have anywheres up to $1,300, so.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
What cemetery is it?
There's different, it ranges anywheres from 1,300 all down to, I don't know.
But is it a
Couple
town
hundred.
cemetery? Are those all town? I don't think
No,
they're.
none of
No.
those are town
These are private.
cemeteries. They're reserve accounts. They're accounts that people have put money into.
Right.
Yeah.
When they buried their whatever.
Yeah, most towns do that.
So I guess there was some damage, and that's why I'm bringing it up. There was some damage over there, and she was wondering about funding. And the answer, I think Debbie talked to her that if they're private, we don't expend town funds. However, there are all these cemetery accounts living
Yeah.
in our reserve. So what's the protocol for using some of that money if a cemetery needs work?
If one of those cemeteries does,
Yeah.
then somebody would need to approach the board.
Okay, so
And,
she should come in then?
Pardon me?
She should come in then?
Or just an email would work.
Okay,
But wouldn't it, let me just,
We would have to find somebody to do the work, which would probably be the hardest part.
would that be up to the selectmen or that, person requesting the funds?
We would be the ones making the final decision, but we would certainly take suggestions.
Okay. I'll reach out to her.
But aren't those accounts for individual people?
Yeah, like for individual
That's,
cemeteries.
Thank you.
yep.
Not for individual people.
Okay, so if you, Walter D. Hill, Andrew Noble, Deborah Burnham, I mean, these are for individual people.
Right.
Gilman, Concord, Eastman.
That's what
Those are all cemeteries.
Cemeteries, that's the name of
Yeah.
the cemeteries.
The Andrew Noble Cemetery,
Yes. Yeah.
the Walter D. Hill.
And they're all cemeteries.
Okay, okay.
Alright, I'll reach out to her. I was just curious how.
Do you know what cemetery this was?
I'm not sure the actual title. She said East Parsons Field, so I'm sure there's multiple over there, so I can
Okay.
get some clarification.
Ooh. Thank you.
And that's all I got.
All right, thank you.
All right. Moving along. Did you want to remind people of the election again? Just to,
I can, yep. So absentee ballots are available now. The election will be Friday, September 8th, and polls are open from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Town meeting will take place Saturday, September 9th at 9.
Thanks.
Moderator, what are we doing, moderator?
I don't know, we haven't talked about
we're
it.
contacting the same person we've always used, thanks.
Okay, well, we need to make that decision.
Well, we can do that.
Okay, and that should probably happen pretty quickly.
Norman Blake, or,
Yeah.
okay.
Reviewed and signed the July 25th notes, and we've approved the agenda for today. Bills are presently being signed, so that checks can go out. Ads, we have a note here about the planning board. Wednesday, August 2nd, which is tomorrow. Planning board meeting at 6 o'clock at the town office here.
Oh, I forgot about the workshop. I may not have the camera set up by then. I told them I'd have it for their next meeting.
Well, you didn't realize it was gonna be 2 days later.
Yeah. So I'll have it for their regular meeting.
Code enforcement, nothing new. York County Sheriff's Report, of course, they're all once a month type thing. Planning board has a couple of site walks scheduled on 8/12, 9 and 10 o'clock. So if you'd like more information about that, go to the workshop. Which is tomorrow. Comprehensive Committee,
Okay, you skipped
Well-
the ACO, which we need to talk about. 6-3.
okay. Well, I didn't think there was anything to, quote, talk about.
Yes,
Well, there's an email from our ACO requesting us
Oh.
to hire a backup ACO.
Okay, where's that? Is that,
It's, well, it was the first piece of after the minutes from last week in my packet.
Okay, I'm on this week, so, okay.
No, this
This
week,
week.
I'm sorry. That's what it looks like. You got anything that looks like that?
No, I don't think so. But,
What's that in your hand?
okay. Backup ACO.
All right, I'll let you read it.
Our current ACO would like a backup at times when he is unavailable. He'd like to suggest a person from Porter, David Lonsby. So we'll have to look into that and get back to Rick in the next week or so as to,
Yeah, I mean, we're not budgeted for it, because Rick is getting a salary now.
so unless Rick wanted to share some of his salary with
That's not gonna happen.
David. All right, so we'll have to, maybe we can get Rick in here and just go over
Well, the gentleman,
what his needs are.
he cannot take that class unless he's been committed to a town, to work for a town, then he can take
Right.
the class to be certified.
Yep. But
And Rick,
we still need to figure out how we're gonna pay this person.
Yeah, no, I
If
know.
we go ahead with
yeah,
it. And
Well, he said he's currently not certified, willing to take needed classes and pay for those classes himself.
Right,
So we'll have to,
right. I mean, I guess I would like to know how many hours that Rick is working, is David working also? Because if
no,
David.
it's only if
only if Rick is
has to be out of
unavailable.
town, this guy will cover, but Rick will still get the calls. He will call the gentleman to say,
Right?
go pick
Okay.
the dog or not.
That's fine, but how much overlap is it when they're both working?
well, there shouldn't
When,
be,
when Rick works in Standing, he's in Standing.
This is only if he's not in Standish or this area. That's the only time.
He said it was when he was on vacation. His sister
Right,
lives
he's-
up north
yeah,
of
he-
Patton, so I think it was in those situations, not when he's in Standish.
Right, just
Okay, so
for a
I just-
vacation or,
well, that's why I
At
think
the
we should get
fair.
Rick in here and
Yeah, we need to clarify that.
get it straightened out.
Because all it says is times when he's unavailable, so,
he'll come in next Tuesday.
okay, sounds good. Okay.
Secaucus Road update, we're still waiting, I'm assuming on that
Yeah, I
day.
got a note from the guy at Flycatcher, who's,
Monitoring it,
yeah, and he said he hadn't heard anything since my last conversation with Jonathan at Soltage, and he asked if I had heard from anybody, and I said no. So he said if he hasn't heard anything by Friday, he will contact Soltage.
okay.
Now, he did say one thing, that CMP was issuing permits for some of the Region 3, which we are in. So they have done at least some of the surveys. So maybe there's some hope before too long.
So we're supposed to be one or two on the list as far as hookups are concerned.
Well,
That-
I think we got moved.
Down?
Well, if they'd issued a couple of permits and we didn't get either of them, then
Well, that's what we were told.
I understand.
Well, so it's obviously to be determined later.
Yeah.
The Budget Committee seems to have a meeting at 6 o'clock tonight. Harvey's here going over some of the preliminary budget numbers. Stanley Building, I haven't heard a word.
Why do we even have that on here? Oh, the court case.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
All I noticed is a lot of the windows are open, so hope that's a good sign.
Well, that has nothing to do with anything. I want people to understand that. We don't own, we've never owned the Stanley Building.
Right.
All we're waiting for is a ruling from the court about,
Representation, really, right?
well, yeah, representation in the
Sale.
septic case.
We have a catering application for Chaps LLC for a wedding at Maple Rock Farm on August 5th. There's some papers to sign for that. Mechanical services, preventive equipment contract, we did, I don't know, that can, I guess, go out.
It did go out.
Okay, so we can take this off, Deb.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me?
We can take the mechanical services
Yes.
annual, that
Yes.
can go,
Right, I
disappear.
didn't put on the minutes that the papers were signed,
So,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
The liquor licenses were approved for Province Lake, actually, last week. And for our local bowling alley.
But one form was missed to be signed,
What, on Province Lake?
yes. Which is in the pink folder.
Okay. We did get a New Hampshire invoice for winter road maintenance on Province Lake Road. Maine DOT will bill us. We have a copy here of what New Hampshire billed Maine. Ridiculous, but that's okay. 2 miles, they call it 4 lanes, obviously, because they have to go up and back. And they charged the state $23,000. Our lane cost is about $6,000 a lane, which I believe we'll be responsible for half of it this year and the full amount next year.
Full amount this year.
Yeah, half of it,
Last year.
the 22, 23,
Yeah,
and the full amount from then on out.
right, but I thought, we haven't paid the half of it.
No, we
It's
have.
right there on that invoice.
Yeah.
Once we receive the invoice from DOT. Now, amount has been put on in the budget.
Yeah, we still
I
haven't
know
gotten the
we-
invoice.
Right, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, so Ed's right, we haven't paid it,
no.
but that's part of this year's budget,
Right.
both last winter and the coming winter.
Very upsetting. We're rescheduling the Sockeye Rescue CPR class. We hope to get all the town hall employees to sign up for it. There were some scheduling conflicts, and we're hoping to reschedule that for after the town meeting.
And if I might recommend, September's our tax time, and that's not an ideal time to put something like this in. I would wait until October, frankly.
Okay, well, that's after the meeting.
Okay, but he recommends some September dates.
From his, yeah, okay.
So October was when you prefer, okay.
Yeah,
As Danielle mentioned previously, property tax stabilization law has been repealed. I'm not sure now whether, I know next year the homestead exemption is going to be increased. If you're 65 and been there 10 years, the exemption would go from 25,000 to 75,000. But did Danielle, she is. Did you say that the paperwork we signed earlier
Yes.
to set a baseline for the taxes will be applicable for this year,
Yes. Whatever the taxes were last year will be the same this year,
as long as you signed,
as long as we had the.
had qualified and signed up and everything? Okay. We had a request for workshop from Gary Taylor at 72 Hasty Road to discussed Province Lake Road being turned over to the town. We want to get some more information from Maine DOT on that, so that's in the works. Our auditing company is received the notification to begin the audits. They are, depending on your look at it, 2 or 3 years behind. Hopefully, since they've been doing this for a few years now, we have the mechanisms in place so it will be a painless process and a matter of just hopefully transferring numbers. Hopefully. We have Maine Municipal. And last but not least, we have the Grateful Undead with their little activities for July. 2 coffees and 1 community cafe the month of July. Averaging about 28 people for each coffee. And pickleball has been moved outside with the good weather. I'm assuming the high school has done proper pickleball courts. They're nice?
Very nice.
Oh, okay, well,
2 of them.
but we'll keep ours in reserve for next winter, right?
Wonderful.
All right. I think that's about it. Harvey and his budget committee will be working diligently this evening, trying to come up with a good number for Parsonsfield. We do have increases, mainly in the roads, because of all the damage to the infrastructure during the storms we've had. But hopefully we'll get reimbursed for that at some point in time. So, David,
I don't have a whole lot. A question for Jen, unless she's going to talk about it, or I'll ask anyways, what's up with the dishwasher?
He's hoping Thursday. He's
Okay,
hoping to be here Thursday. He's got to line up another guy to get him the hat.
okay.
I told him get it in here and get it installed, and then electricity will follow.
So he's okay disconnecting the existing?
He didn't say anything.
Okay. Okay, all right, I'll let Keith know then that, did he give you a time?
No,
No,
he's gonna
okay,
call me
all
back.
right, so after Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that's all I have.
okay, well, that's not bad. Jeff,
So you don't want to have me go first? Been waiting.
well, you've been waiting also too.
Okay.
If you'd like to,
All right, I don't want to waste any time.
Yeah, thank you.
You're talking about East Parsonsfield, the cemetery. If it's private, we should probably take care of the ones that we have in the town itself, because we've got 400 feet of pipe railing over there in Merrill Hill and 160 to be replaced.
right,
Plus, we still have those trees that need to be cut. So,
There's a separate cemetery account for town cemeteries, correct?
Yes.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
so we're talking about the individual cemeteries, private ones.
Yeah. well, I just didn't want the town.
we would not forget our cemeteries and our responsibilities, Jeff. Honest injury.
Well, we haven't done a whole lot lately.
Well,
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying. That fence has been down since we moved here to this building.
that's true.
Okay,
Down there.
I'm all good, Pub.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, sir. Harv?
I just had one question here about the homestead under the 100% valuation
Harvey, you're gonna
situation.
have to come over here because people can't hear you, please.
Plus, you're good looking at it. Bobby, get up there.
You'll be on TV too, Harvey, and you know,
To walk that far.
your claim to fame.
Yeah, right. 100% evaluation is probably going to have an effect on that, I would assume.
Well,
Maybe
we are-
premature to ask that question.
What are we still at 100%? I don't
No,
remember.
we're not.
I think we're at like 95 or something.
95? Okay, so yes,
Yeah.
that is a
Factor.
factor, and it factors that down.
Okay,
Yeah,
can I get up now?
yeah.
Thank you, Irv. Jen?
So I just wanted to mention the dishwasher, and now that we know that, and also to ask if anybody remembers something called the Keezer Valley Revitalization Committee.
The who?
The Keezer Valley?
Keezer Valley.
What kind of time frame are we talking?
2003.
The town had a revitalization committee, but it wasn't called the Keezer Valley Revitalization Committee.
Well, when I was doing a little bit of research for the Conservation Commission to see what had been there, this is what Danielle actually founded by accident. And it sounds like what you might have been talking about, and they wanted to deal with the box shop property. So we only could find 3 meeting minutes, 3 meetings that were recorded minutes. October 13th of 2003, one of the members present, I know well enough to ask him today, and actually, Arian is what's his name. She,
And Harvey and Kelvin and Scott.
yes, yes, so I asked one of them today, and he said, I don't ever remember that committee. No recollection of that
I
committee.
remember that too.
You remember it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so
It was real.
maybe this is what, when we talk about conservation committee, maybe this is something, you said there had been one. This is like the most detailed notes I could find of people that were interested in preserving the open space down there.
There's a file over in that.
Not that I want another committee called Keezer Valley, but it's there, so, interesting.
This in regard to the space along the river,
Yes,
just after Caucus Road on the right-hand side as you're going? Okay.
One of them showed up.
it would be something that a conservation committee or conservation commission could work on to preserve, and if I can get a grant, we could maybe get, some trails through it, picnic table or two. Not the only place in Parsonsfield to be, locked in as a preserved space, but that was as close as I could come to a conservation
Yeah.
commission.
Was that committee involved with the trails down there?
They looked at, they had actually some pretty in-depth information. They had some soil samples taken, they discussed the organization, the project site existing condition, they had a USDA soil conservation site report, and then, of course, the Saco River was involved. And that was about it. It didn't look like it went any further than that. Maybe, Harvey, you know? Looks like
Well,
it-
the expenditure was for the brownfield to clean up the site. I don't know, that was quite a while ago, but I know there's a file back there in that great drawer over there. It gives you a list of names and everything that was on it.
Yeah,
Costs.
found it. There's some stuff in there too, okay, that we didn't find. So this is one area I haven't searched yet for conservation. Do I dare?
Well, I guess
Absolutely.
the main question is, are we still in effect, or do you have to just
I don't know,
reassert?
like, Do you know where that folder is over here?
1985.
Oh, golly, it could be in any one of them.
So, yeah, it's not.
Whether it has an effect to the Conservation Commission, I think it had to be under something. And that's what the committee was under, Conservation. But if you've already got it established somewhere, then we don't have to reestablish, we just have to have the people. to-
Yeah, that was my point when I said,
To have the
See
people
what you
to
can find.
do it and reappoint
Right,
people.
and I believe according to state statutes, it has to come from you guys.
yeah,
Yeah, basically, so you can either approve it or then we'll get the application too.
well, I want to find this folder you're talking about and see
Right, 'cause-
what's in it. Yeah,
okay,
all right?
yeah,
Good.
All right, thank you, Jen. All right, folks, thank you very much. And we'll see you next week, or you'll see us next week.